A juicy topic indeed is how to gain access to systems. Well, if you have the password and how you can get the password, you can do that online attacks and non-technical attacks. Offline attack is usually when the target in question has been compromised and you have now the file that has the hashes of the password. Take the file to your own system and at your own convenience you will apply techniques such as dictionary, brute force, hybrid, rule-based or rainbow table attacks to crack the password. Meanwhile, online password attacks usually happen when you don't have access directly to the system and you're trying to gain access remotely. This is usually happen when you are presented, for example, by a web form and other types of authentication forms. The attacker will employ as well dictionary attacks, brute force attacks, and other types of attacks such as man-in-the-middle replay and wire sniffing. The main difference between both of the attacks is that a prerequisite for the offline attack is you acquiring the hash for the password. Meanwhile, the online password attack is kind of noisy and it will alert the administrator that certain kind of attack is happening and you might be as well blocked. Your IP might be blocked, some password policies might apply for the lockout period, and online attack is actually more difficult to execute than offline attacks. The non-technical attacks are usually straightforward, as we saw earlier with the phishing technique of social engineering. Shoulder surfing as well might happen in public places, and dumpster diving is when you dig into the trash of the victim to get more information about possible passwords. So a dictionary attack and a brute force attack is common between offline and online, and it's usually the easiest way to go for guessing a password. A dictionary attack is when the attacker uses a file that has possible words from the dictionary and tries to guess into the password manually or usually using a system, an application. A brute force attack happens when the attacker uses some character sets, like all the uppercase characters, all the lowercase characters, all the symbols and all the numbers, and the combination for the username and password takes place. Usually this is like a long process. A hybrid attack is a combination between dictionary attack and a brute force attack. Meanwhile, rule-based attack usually happen when you have information about the nature of the password. So if you have the password policy of the victim or the company or organization you're ethically attacking, you will feed this in the application, and statistically speaking, this will enhance the time needed to crack a password. A rainbow table is a list of pre-computed hashes and where corresponding password is there next to the hash which is cracked. And to do that, you just compare the hash that you have with the hash found in the rainbow tables, and if there's a match, here you go, you crack the password. For the online password attacks, same techniques apply in terms of dictionary attack and brute force attack, and many times it is easier to reset a password than to guess it. So if you have access to the system, you might boot from a Linux CD and some applications will locate usernames, and here you go, you can just reset the password instead of taking a lot of time guessing it. Other types of technique happen when you don't want to interact directly with the victim, but you're there on the network sniffing, capturing hashes and reusing them to authenticate.